Yes. Egyapa Mercer.
Yes.
Yes, so why did you go to the MP's house shouting intimidation, which you will not allow? He's a whistleblower, he's being intimidated.
This is a country of laws. Yesterday, I listened to Kofi on, I believe it was on Joy News, right? And he made a point where I totally shared his views. I believe it was a morning show, super morning show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were referring to last week's show.
Oh, yesterday morning.
Okay. Morning show.
Because I've read Intim Fojo's press statement on critical security concerns by the Minority Caucus in Parliament on April 1st. Carefully. In fact, I've read it more than 3 times. And I'm still at pains to find the offense that is contained in the statement that he issued, pursuant to which the government is reacting in the manner that it is doing. Samson, you and I are lawyers. Arrest is governed by the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act.
Correct.
1960, Act 30. And it is clear the mode and circumstances under which an arrest can be effected. And so, assuming without admitting that Intim Fojo has made any criminal or made any statement that borders on criminality, was the process that the so-called officials of state who went to his house to arrest him consistent with law? I don't know why
Nitu said he questioned one of them, those who were hooded. Questioned one of them and he said, my face is a warrant.
What kind of lawlessness is this? You see, it's early days.
But on that small
one moment.
On that small point, on the warrant. Well, the officer said he's a senior officer. Is he wrong?
And the circumstances under which a senior officer, the circumstances under which...
He doesn't need a warrant.
Wait. The circumstances under which a senior officer can effect an arrest was what took place in Intim Fojo's house? Was any crime being committed in his presence?
That's not the only circumstance.
See, and what other circumstance? Suspicion of commission of a crime. Was that what was happening in his house?
Perhaps.
How? You see, I get you. I get you. That as host of an important program such as this, you sometimes play the devil's advocate. Last week, listening to you, that was the sense that I got with a kind of posturing that your questions to Intim seemed like. But I think you overdid it in the sense that he is not in a position to provide any evidence necessarily for a suspected act that has come to his information. Okay? And so for the police or the national security apparatus to raid his home in the manner that they did. Making a point, it's early days.
What's a raid?
It's early days.
What's a raid?
I hope and pray that Mr. Mahama's promise of a reset will not be one that is resetting Ghana into a military era. That's my hope and prayer. What did Intim Fojo do? He says, and the crux of his statement on the Ahmed and Kavok Air private jet transporting suspected cocaine and cash. He says, reliable intelligence intercepted by the Minority Caucus indicates that on March 20th, 2025, Air Med flight N823 AM, which is an air ambulance designed specifically to carry patients, landed at KIA, Accra, Ghana, and remained in the country for 5 days before departing at 01 o'clock on March 25th, back to Gran Canaria. Our intelligence further posits that no patient was transported by the said Air Med flight, neither to nor from Accra. There is no evidence of medical referral or patient accompanying or on board the flight on either legs of the flight. We are reliably informed that contrary to the expectation that the Air Med flight will carry patients, the purpose for which it was designed and operates, it rather on this occasion carried suspicious cargo suspected to be cocaine and cash in US dollars. So if a ranking member of the Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Intelligence, based on intelligence that he picked, makes a statement to this effect, what is the state intelligence agency supposed to do? Investigate the matter and come out to either confirm or refute the allegation that the MP has made. True or false? Yet, you hear the government spokesperson, Minister for Government Communication, saying that Ntim Fodjo is supposed to provide evidence. What evidence? Of actual cash and cocaine being sighted on the plane. He's not interested in an investigation that establishes whether indeed and in fact this flight came in with a patient or some organ on board, and that it wasn't cocaine that was on board or currency that was on board.
He has been told what the plane came with.
What did it come with?
You are not aware.
The Air Med. What did the Air Med come with?
It came with...
He tells us that the Air Med was from Luanda and had to stop in Accra for some reason.
So if I may finish my question before.
Please.
If I may finish my question before. He's making the allegation. He says he should be investigated.
Yes.
I've watched my show, that part. I've watched it like 3 times. I'm very proud I did it the way I did. Now here, you say, these are my suspicions and allegations. Investigate. Then the government comes and tells you, this is what happened. There is nothing untoward about it. You say, I disagree. What you are talking to me about is fake. What then do you do?
But that's not entirely what he said.
That's what he said.
Hold on. What the government's response was turns out to be inaccurate. Raises more questions than answers. So he should take it hook, line, sinker, that by reason of the fact that Felix says that the flight was from Luanda, when in fact publicly available data suggests that the flight went nowhere near Luanda, and that he had left Gran Canaria en route to Accra and had departed Accra back to Gran Canaria.
Can we focus on the cargo? Let's focus on the cargo. The cargo is the issue.
So what's the...
the cargo.
Hold on.
He's been explaining what the cargo is.
What was on the...
He says he doesn't agree to what is alleged to have been the cargo. So what should they do?
So what was on the flight? On the Air Med flight? Have you been told? It came empty from Gran Canaria to Accra without a patient, without any organ, without any medical related issue, flew all the way from, what was the place that they came from? Santa Maria to Gran Canaria to Accra and back empty. What did he come here to do? It's of no consequence.
You don't want to take the explanation.
What explanation?
I'm not going to repeat what they have said. You have heard it, but you just...
All that they've said is that the flight had issues en route from Luanda and had to stop in Accra. It turns out that the flight went nowhere to Luanda. So what explanation are they giving? Say it again.
There were 2 flights.
Yeah, I'm talking of the Ahmed one. And we'll deal with the second one.
Which came from Luanda?
No. In fact, the flight that Felix makes reference to last had any activity on it in December 2024. 18 December. So what explanation have they given? Because I would have thought that the president's position that he took was what state security agencies were going to comply with. Investigate the matter, go to the airport, find out what cargo was on the plane, and come and tell Ghanaians that, well, we've gone to check. Indeed and in fact, it came with patient XYZ or John Doe, because we can't disclose the identity of the patient that was on the flight, or that he came with some organ, or that he came here to pick some patient out of Accra. When he got here, he had issues on the plane, and so they had to bring another one to come and change the ties and all that. But they haven't told us what cargo was on the Ahmed. And you say that because of that, he should forcefully be arrested to provide information to the state? Under what rule?
Assuming that there was no cargo, assuming that there was cargo, and I want us to get to the real thing, not about, you have raised legitimate questions about destination of one of them, where it has been or has not been. But let's come back to what the statement said, the cargo, suspicious cargo, suspected to be cocaine and US dollars cash. He explains later in varied currencies. Have you read what the airport company has issued?
I've read it.
Okay. So you still...
Which was issued 9 days after the allegations were made.
What does that change?
It doesn't change a lot. From the first, when this matter became topical, Ghana Airport Company did not find the need to provide information to state security.
So is it information you want?
Hold on.
Is it information you want or what?
Until a government appointee went to sit on one of your sister stations to lambast the chief executive as being in cahoots with Intim Fojo, as being the one who had provided information to Intim Fojo to put out this statement, hence the statement from Ghana Airport Company. What are we talking about?
Intim Fojo said that. Wait. Just one second. Intim Fojo told me on this platform that if what Felix had said had been said by the Ghana Airport Company, he would take it because that is more believable. The Ghana Airport Company has issued a statement telling you all the allegations, the claims that were made are unfounded.
But you see, I'm even surprised that we are focusing on the suspected cargo.
Because that's the issue.
Because, as far as I'm concerned, it's immaterial.
Really?
Certainly. Because it's of concern to me how an air ambulance will come into my jurisdiction with whatever was on board. And we as a country should not be concerned. Depart from a jurisdiction that is known for illicit drugs and money laundering to come into Accra as per the research that your own media house has done, that this flight flew from Gran Canaria into Accra and back. It wasn't as if it was en route to Burkina Faso or probably Angola and had issues and had to come to Ghana. Because in that case, the flight data information would indicate that this flight departed from Gran Canaria en route to Luanda, but had issues and stopped in Accra.
Do you agree?
That's not what the information, publicly available information data
do you agree?
discloses.
Do you agree that Intim Fojo's original press briefing did not include this new twist?
Which one?
And that the focus was on the cargo. And the focus indeed must be on the cargo. Whether there was cocaine,
Samson, let's read
money.
The text.
No, let's not go back.
Because it's important that we
let's not go back
to
to it. Let's not go back to it. We have done it over and again here. My question to you is that, so now, the people you want to give you explanations, including the company itself have given the explanations.
But the explanation that they give itself says that flight detailing and some other things are within the purview of civil aviation. And so that satisfies you?
So
no, I want to know whether it satisfies me, because I'm not satisfied.
So let me ask that question I asked last week again. What it means is that you know beyond suspicion.
That what?
And that, in fact, you have evidence of wrongdoing.
We know that, in fact, these two flights, especially the AirMed one that I'm focusing on, came into Ghana without any patient on board. What did they carry? We know that it did not come from Rwanda, as the government spokesperson said. Why was it here?
Therefore, it carried cocaine.
But of course, it leaves it open.
Okay.
That it could carry anything, including bombs. Okay? So that's what I'm saying, that the content is immaterial, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
That if two suspicious flights come into Ghana...
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to the next person. You have done 15 minutes
about
of
what
the
it
time.
is that is on board.
Thank you. You have done 15 minutes.
And as far as I'm concerned,
let me go to the next person. Thank you.
Government has still not provided us with answers to that effect.
All right. Thank you very much. So,
you want the statement?
Susan, I'll come to you. I want to talk to the politicians first, because when we clear the politicians, we can get you guys to look at the issues, because they can decide to ignore certain points. Yeah. Please. How do you answer to what is being said now? And I asked that question of Sami Jemfi last week. That really, are there not suspicions? And are the suspicions not reasonable? That the circumstances they talk about, and now the new things we are being told about, you know, about flight coming direct and not going anywhere before and so on. Yeah.
Samson, this matter is simple. It is not complicated at all. Honorable Ntim Fojo is my ranking member. He serves on the Defense and Interior Committee. And on that committee, it is not business as usual. You don't just go out there and make allegations against the national security apparatus when you haven't established anything. But Samson, what is most important is that that committee is one which is there.
Show me where it is.
Oh, Mercer, please, when we were talking, I was calm and quiet. So let me make my point. Your ranking member had every opportunity under the sun to have called for a meeting with the security agencies of our state.
Under what rule?
And he's done that before.
I want to know the rule.
He's done that before. You have been a member of parliament before.
Certainly.
And you know how parliament...
How many press conferences did you hold through committees?
Those press conferences I addressed as
what are we talking about?
Member did not make unfounded allegations bordered on crime.
Go ahead and make your point.
But your ranking member made allegations which border on crime. An opportunity was extended to him to assist state security to establish whether some crime had been committed or not. He made allegations bordering on money laundering, cocaine trafficking. These are very serious allegations. And as a ranking member, he knew he had the power to call for a meeting, an engagement with the security agencies, and you make all his inquiries, interrogate the issues. He didn't do that. He went straight to the media.
He did that the second day. He wrote a letter asking for the meeting.
After he had addressed a press conference.
That's correct.
And made the allegations.
What's wrong with that?
And the president called for
a probe. He says, what's wrong with that?
Well, everything is wrong with that, because you see, when you do that, you put the cart before the donkey. And previously, the same person had actually asked me to summon the Minister for Interior, Minister for Defense to respond to certain issues, and I did that, just that. But this time around, he elected to go to the media first. And when the security apparatus was asked to investigate the allegations he had made, The same person then chose to run to the committee, seek refuge under the committee. And I said, no, wait a minute. Go and assist the state security apparatus to investigate the allegations he had made, so that at a subsequent date, we would now invite the state security apparatus to appear before the committee and present before us
under what rule?
A comprehensive report on the outcome of his investigation.
I can't understand these things.
But you see, Mercer, let me remind you that parliaments select committees, and the Committee for Defense and Interior, for that matter, has not got the power and the competence to conduct criminal investigations. Your ranking member made allegations which bordered on the commission of crime. And so the appropriate institutions
and so he can be compelled,
which would have investigated those allegations of crime were the ones that were instructed to investigate.
To investigate those allegations.
You see, Mercer, if your ranking member was not being malicious,
I can't understand.
No. You see, if your ranking member was not being malicious, why did he run away from going to assist the security agents?
But he's under no obligation to do so. That's the point that I'm making.
But you see, as
he's
a ranking
no
member,
obligation whatsoever.
As a ranking member who should be taken seriously.
What law enjoins him to make or assist the state security to investigate?
No law enjoins him. But
so why are you imposing that burden on him?
I
cannot understand.
I thought you guys said it's a whistleblower.
and the whistleblower is mandated by law to assist in investigation.
Something.
Okay, sorry. It's